With walking, the evidence is clear. Walking and low-intensity exercise are the main contributors to long-term fat loss and metabolic wellness. We'll dissect the science behind why walking is not only healthy for you but also an essential tool for controlling blood sugar and fat oxidation. But after that, we're going to combine it with a compound that I want to discuss because it's great for walking. Additionally, it detoxifies the body at the molecular level, increases energy production, promotes fat reduction, and even reverses insulin resistance. Therefore, if you believe that you are working too hard and not seeing results, it is because you are missing the basis. That's what we're building today. We will therefore dissect a few distinct items. In this video, I want to discuss 4 different topics. We will first examine the data and the walking protocol. Therefore, we will examine the mortality data and demonstrate how simple movement can be a potent remedy. After that, we'll discuss the metabolic reset section, which will explain how it can alter our fuel use. After that, I'll discuss the compound piece that we can incorporate to enhance our walking. After that, I'll discuss the performance blueprint, which provides you with the precise actionable technique to mix this substance with walking for optimal performance and metabolic results. When I lost 110 pounds, I didn't really spend much of my time in the gym. Even though I enjoyed going to the gym, it was walking. Additionally, the science of walking and longevity. When it comes to longevity, the data is very clear. A large-scale study was released in The Lancet. This was discussed by Dr. Eric Berg not too long ago. It examined step counts with all-cause death by analyzing data from 15 distinct studies. The results were really striking. Alright, the steps and your chance of dying instantly were correlated in a dose-dependent manner. Accordingly, people who walked 5,800 steps a day had a 40% lower chance of dying from any cause than people who walked 3,500 steps a day. That danger decreased by 45% at 7,800 steps. Additionally, they saw a 53% decrease in risk after 11,000 steps. Additionally, they are walking more, which raises the possibility that they will be struck by a bus. Alright, poor joke. This implies that your chances of living a longer life increase with the amount of walking you do. Alright, there is a clear correlation. Having a strong, effective metabolism in the modern era is different from simply living longer. I would rather live a shorter life with a better metabolism and a working body than a long life with a malfunctioning metabolism and a machine. In the end, we will ensure that the metabolism is healthy. We will therefore explore the particular biological processes that enable walking to directly address insulin resistance and metabolic inefficiency. Thus, this metabolic reset is similar to the impact of walking on a metabolic reset. Walking should be your main strategy if you're fighting metabolic dysfunction, such as insulin resistance or any of those conditions. Alright. Something occurs at the molecular level when you contract the big muscles in your legs, such as your glutes, quadriceps, and hamstrings. And it involves these muscles contracting to remove glucose from your bloodstream without the need for insulin. There, without needing insulin, is the key phrase. Insulin-independent glucose uptake is the term for this. Specialized glucose transporters are thus released by these large muscles and cells. We refer to it as GLUT4. And when a cell is physically active, these rise to the surface. Therefore, it does not require an insulin signal. Put another way, you're actively removing extra sugar from your blood while also giving your pancreas a vacation. This is a straightforward mechanical solution to metabolic issues. Additionally, walking uses a higher amount of fat as fuel than high-intensity exercise. Thus, it's really muscle-sparing, isn't it? Although high-intensity labor is fantastic, it does cause a slight increase in muscle breakdown. You're not catabolizing all of your hard-earned muscle. The fact that walking enhances angiogenesis means that you're actually encouraging it. This is the formation of new blood vessels. Your muscles are becoming more efficient as a result of burning more infrastructure. In other words, you're burning fat and actually maintaining muscle. In terms of physical composition, it is literally the best combo. However, improving your external movement is just half the fight. All right? We need to deal with the internal cellular issues. I'll be talking about something you can add to the mix in a bit. I want to take a moment to concentrate on gut health before I discuss that. It may surprise you to learn that fat oxidation can begin in the stomach. Insulin resistance may decrease if your stomach is in balance and there is less inflammation in it. All right? The gut is where inflammation begins. Furthermore, inflammation is the primary cause of insulin resistance. However, adding healthy probiotic foods like kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, and yogurt is something I advise anyone making any kind of lifestyle change to do. Include these. I swear by them, I'm telling you. Add an excellent probiotic if you are unable to do that, or even if you are able to. Therefore, it isn't a strange fly-by-night cheapie. It's of high quality. Additionally, you need something with clinical support if you want to truly recolonize the gut with beneficial bacteria. Otherwise, your gut simply destroys that material. All right. All of those bacteria will be broken down by the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, which won't help you. For a daily symbiosis from Seed, the website below offers a 20% savings. Thus, it contains both a probiotic and a prebiotic. So have a look at that one. It works quite well. You will quickly notice it. Wait a minute, you'll notice that I feel more alive. I'm getting a better night's sleep. Within a few weeks, I became aware of all of those things. That URL can be found below. Therefore, if we examine the effects of walking on the body, we find that it intersects with a fascinating molecule known as TMG. Alright, glycine trimethyl. Another name for it is betaine. That's great because it tackles many of the same issues that we're attempting to address with simple walking, but at a molecular level. Therefore, TMG's position as a so-called methyl donor is one of its most important functions. According to science, TMG functions as a methyl donor by contributing a methyl group to what is known as the homocysteine remethylation pathway. Thus, it changes an amino acid that is toxic back into something that is not. Correct? Therefore, it is widely known that elevated homocysteine increases the risk of cardiovascular disease and many other metabolic disorders. To put it another way, TMG is a cleanup team for homocysteine, a dangerous chemical in your blood that decreases when you walk more. Thus, it's similar to teamwork. It functions incredibly well. TMG neutralizes elevated homocysteine levels, which end up acting as a form of rust in your cardiovascular system. However, TMG doesn't actually end there. It is sometimes referred to as an osmolyte. Alright, this is really fascinating. TMG really accumulates inside cells, preserving fluid balance and cell volume. Especially when under stress, such as when exercising or dehydrated. What makes this significant? In essence, TMG keeps your cells moisturized and, eventually, stress-resistant. Your cells become more resilient as a result. They become more effective, and TMG has a strong performance-boosting effect, so it's not simply a defensive player. Therefore, you actually generate a very powerful synergy when you combine it with walking. Therefore, walking can really aid in increasing fat reduction. I now want to provide you with the performance blueprint for the protocol, which will enable you to put everything together. I'll refer to it as a kind of blueprint. Therefore, TMG has really significant effects on your performance because it essentially helps your body produce more creatine, which is kind of intriguing, in addition to improving fuel oxidation. Thus, it promotes the synthesis of creatine. You may or may not have heard me discuss creatine a lot, but in essence, it's an energy store, don't you think? Therefore, TMG helps increase your muscle power reserves by assisting your body in producing more creatine, which also aids in your recovery and increases the anti-inflammatory effects of your walking. In other words, it helps your muscles generate more energy in a short burst, which may not be very helpful when walking, but it will, in fact, provide you more reserves when you walk. Not only will you be able to walk with more energy if you have more power and less exhaustion, but you will also be able to gain more from walking in terms of your metabolism as a whole. In order to achieve the most benefit or synergistic effect, I would advise you to use combining walking and AMP, TMG walking in TMG. First, of course, a daily walk, although I am aware that it is difficult to get the entire 7-10,000 steps in a single stroll. You're already in the fat oxidation mode if you can complete 7 to 10,000 steps in a single setting. Therefore, if you can, I do advise chunking things, but the little pieces you add together are what really matter. So, add another 1,000 if you're at 3,500, okay? Do small tasks here. Even take a stroll around the home. Just 1,000 steps can reduce your chance of death from all causes by 12%. Walk first thing in the morning if you can. In this manner, you receive sunshine, your circadian rhythm is optimized, your metabolism is somewhat more active, and you are likely to lose more fat. Then, of course, simply incorporate movement into your daily routine. Simply said, it must be an unavoidable aspect of your life that you move around as frequently as possible. This is followed by the TMG, which has an average effective dose of 1.5 to 6 grams daily. Therefore, if performance is your goal, you might wish to take TMG half an hour before doing out or taking a lengthy walk. However, you can take it with any meal if it's for general health and only methylation issues. Consistent daily consumption is more important. Thus, it does matter whether you're losing weight or performing well. Otherwise, it doesn't. Therefore, you're really addressing the underlying causes of weariness if you combine the metabolic benefits of walking with the impacts of TMG on cellular performance and optimization. Your body is able to burn more fat when you walk because of it. You regain your energy in this way. You can begin burning more fat in this way. You can sort of recover your metabolism in this way. Additionally, I created a video here that delves deeply into cinnamon. This one may be of interest to you. How adding cinnamon to your coffee can significantly impact your body's insulin levels. Vital to the metabolism. That video may be found right here. Keep it locked here on my channel, as usual. Tomorrow, I'll see you.